Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. And I just want to say you guys are amazing. And I really wanted to talk about today's topic because it affects every one of us in this monadic twin flame journey. And that's why I've titled it, some along the lines of why do we get so triggered when he posts something on social media? Literally, when he posts, we break, even though we may think that, hey, I've got this, I'm now years of being in separation. Now I won't get affected anymore. But you know what? Our nervous system actually collapses and no one actually talks about it because this is a hidden reality of field level triggers that occurs in the monadic twin flame separation. So that's the reason why literally he would post something, a photo, a photo, a reel, a video, a status update, and literally he would be with his family, like with his siblings and parents, and he will be triggered. He will post a picture of going on a holiday with his parents, and he will be triggered. He will literally be posting a picture of being in a social event with a crowd of people, and he will be triggered. He will post a picture with a few friends, and he will be triggered. In fact, anything he does, you will be triggered. And you're like, why are you being triggered? So literally, like I say, it could be a photo, it could be a video, it could be a status update, and you're triggered. But you have to look at it this way. Maybe it's something with actually no obvious meaning at all. Maybe it's something that feels like a direct hit, like you were not expecting it, especially for those in category 2, when you don't hear anything at all from your divine masculine and he doesn't post anything at all, suddenly there is something. So that's what I mean. You're not expecting it, and maybe you were, maybe deep within, something changed, because this is what I call the hidden reality of the field level triggers in the monadic twin flame separation. You see, only in the monadic twin flame journey, you've got this thing called the third energy, which I'm going to do a discourse on shortly, because many of you guys have commented. I will. So you weren't expecting it. And maybe a part of you knew or maybe you were yearning to know what was going on with him. But the thing is, you thought you were doing fine. You were detached, empowered, busy, totally in your zone. And then something primal cracks open in you. Your stomach clenches. Your chest starts burning, literally, that discomfort, because our nervous system is spiraling into collapse. We cannot sleep for hours. We can't even sleep at night. Our hands start to shake. We are sobbing for reasons that our mind can't even track. And here is the truth that no one talks about. Really, it is not about what he posted. It is about what our soul feels. It's what our soul is feeling, because we're feeling the move in the third energy. So the third energy reactivates on contact, and this includes digital as well. So in the monadic twin flame dynamics, the third energy is not emotional, it's electromagnetic. That's why literally, electromagnetic. That means any shift in his emotional frequency, psychic focus, or external movement creates a ripple in the field, and your body, as divine feminines, our body is so used to being open in a way, very intuitive as well. So we are kind of like aware of the fields in some level, registers this shift movement immediately. So, our divine masculine's pose is not just a digital action, it is a field level movement. And when that connection is active but unspoken, even a minor movement can feel like a soulquake. And you feel the energetic residue of his intention, conscious or not. And that's when you start to feel the psychic rupture between the timelines, the soul grief at being seen in the physical, and our body's attempt to regulate an impossible influx of invisible emotion. And this is exactly at a point where you're like in separation for so long and you are like no contact. And like example, 7 months, you're doing okay. You've accepted the fact that he has blocked you. You've accepted the fact that he says that he will never ever speak to you again, or he ignores you, or he chooses someone else and he disappears, or he chooses whatever it is. And you think like you've adapted, you've adjusted, but that one post can totally break you. The panic attacks, that discomfort in the stomach, all of it. So it leads us to the next question as to why the nervous system actually breaks. Because what you are actually experiencing is nervous system dissonance. Nervous systems dissonance. Sorry about that. What you experience is nervous system dissonance, where the mind says, hey, it's no big deal. But the body says, uh-oh, something just shifted between us. I feel it. I can't ground. I don't know who I am right now. And this is not just trauma reactivation. It is soul-born interference in real time. Your vagus nerve, your heart rate, your breathing rhythm, your breath rhythm, your sleep cycles respond to the field in ultimate disturbance, because the field is your real-time relationship, whether or not you're physically in contact. So, really, what hurts isn't the post itself. What hurts is that his public movement touches something private between you and exposes how much is unresolved, unspoken, and sacred. This is really, really, really not about wanting him back. So let me be very, very clear here. The intention is not for him to call you, or the intention is not for him to tell you, hey, I'm in town, catch up with me. Your intention is like, you don't have any intention. So that's why I'm really being clear here. You don't want him to call. You don't want him to come and rescue you. You may not even want him in your life anymore, but the field wants completion. The soul wants coherence. And your feminine nervous system, being wired to feel the entire field, goes into acute overload when your divine masculine's action destabilizes the bond. So it's not attachment. It's dimensional entanglement. And it takes spiritual maturity to say, this is not about man. Or it's not about the man child. Sorry, couldn't help that. This is about the contract still running between each other's fields. And that's the reason why we are really looking into this as the soul's timeline versus the body's shock. So it is in this very moment where you see his post and your system spirals, and you may not have even intended to see his post. It could have been something like a friend comes and tells you, or it could be like you're doing something and it's not even like you wanted to go and stalk him or see him. It's like the feel made it appear before you. So in that moment when you see his post, your system spirals, and two timelines two timelines collapse: the soul's vision of sacred union and the body's experience of abandonment. So I want to be I want to emphasize this, all right? The soul's vision of union and the body's constant experience of being abandoned. So this is the monadic twin flame contradiction. How can he still be the one and still not be here? And this is totally mind rattling because your soul doesn't break, it remembers. But your body does break because it has to transmute what the soul can't carry anymore alone. And that's why you collapse, because you're trying to metabolize what both of you were meant to hold together. And this is the part no one talks about ever. Everyone talks about karma, karma clearing, healing. Everyone talks about no contact. Everyone talks about work on yourself, focus on yourself. But people don't really get what that actually means. That's one thing. But no one actually talks about the sacred shock our nervous system takes when our divine masculine moves forward, sideways, or even vaguely, and our field is forced to recalibrate in real time without support. And you're left with psychic overstimulation, emotional overwhelm, body-based pain that doctors can't explain, and loneliness so cosmic it feels like soul fracture. So remember, you are not weak. You are the one processing the data of the entire union. And your next question may be, how to survive this kind of pain? So let me emphasize on this. You don't need to stop feeling him. You don't need to create energetic containment for what you're holding. But these practical things might help. Move your body, shake, go for a swim, submerge yourself in water. It really, really helps. But cry, like literally cry, whatever allows your nervous system to complete the stress response. Another thing is talk to the feel. Say what you wish you could say to him, even if it's in silence. This can stabilize the energies a little bit. It tends to be like quite intense because sometimes you'll be like wondering, I'm going through all of this. Does my DM know? Of course, he knows it through the third energy. He knows it. That's the reason why he literally, you wouldn't even be like stalking him and you'll be like, you're stalking him because you're always in his energy field. But the thing is, it's not you being in his energy field. It is how it is. It's the third energy. In fact, he's the one who's in your field. So it's like the cattle calling the sheep black, literally. So talk to the field. Tell the field. Yeah, of course, you can't tell the field, hey, block him. It's not going to work. And neither can your DM do that. The field is going to be open. That's why our divine masculines tend to block, like that action of blocking is very metaphorical because he's not able to block you in a soul space. He blocks you in 3D, social media. See, long ago, there wasn't even social media. So back then, it was like different. The blocking was probably different. So yeah, so that's why he blocks. And that's why he says those mean things. Because he thinks you're doing something, but you are not. You share a field because you're one soul split to two. Right? So that's why another practical way is to strengthen your aura, have a salt bath. You can use like psychic tools like visualization, you can get a healing, you can try to, nature is very good at healing your auric boundaries, so go to nature, go for a swim, go to the park, ground, walk on grass, something that helps you to regulate your system, and ground your body back into this timeline because you're being pulled into the timeline of rejection, heartbreak, he's never going to come back because he said so, and all that. It's like a total nervous system, but you can re-anchor into the timeline of healing. And most importantly, don't shame yourself for breaking. You're not breaking because you're weak. You're breaking because you are real and the journey is real. So that's why this is a part of what makes monadic divine feminines quite rare and quite divine and quite holy, because we feel the weight of the field no one else sees. So when he posts, you break. But you're not losing power. You're being asked to remember that power is what you hold when no one else is holding it with you. And remember, you will rise from this collapse and the field will reorganize your coherence, because that's what we do as divine feminines. And this is like such a, what do you call it? It's something that we don't talk about much, but it's the reality, No matter how far you think you've come in your healing journey, remember, healing again is, we have cells dying every day and cells being born every day. So healing is never, you can never be in a healed state. You're always healing, but it's about your perspective on healing. So that's what I'm saying, if your nervous system is breaking down, you need to honor it. And you need to surrender to cosmic consciousness, and you need to go back to the timeline where you were, but of course it changes the field, and it's like it's meant to happen that way as well, because it's kind of testing the field. So with that, I hope you have enjoyed this mini discourse. And if you guys, have thoughts around this, write them in the comments. And if you want to work one-on-one with me, check out my website. You can book a one-on-one session via the link in the description. And guys, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, as well, Facebook as well. I do have a presence there. I really, really appreciate you guys, especially Instagram. I made a post, growing my following there, because really, literally, I only have like 100. But again, it doesn't really matter. But, if it helps you to stay connected that way, go for it. And I really, really appreciate each and every one of you, your kind words, your support, your tips, and you guys pouring your heart out, and sharing, and it's so amazing, because you're building this beautiful community of monadic divine feminines, and it's very, very beautiful. And again, if you guys want me to channel a particular, because I'm a psychic, I'm a clairvoyant, if you want me to talk about a certain topic, do let me know. A lot of what I talk about is from my own experience and from all the clients that I've been working with for many, many years. And also, I want to be real, I want to be raw, and that's why I try to put a why, because these are questions that we all ask ourselves, but we don't really get answers for. And so this is my way of getting you inspired to find your own journey and your own truth and your own path. And then that's what we do, right? As teachers, it's not for me to like tell you, hey, do this, do that. As a psychic, same. As a clairvoyant, it's to inspire guidance, So same thing. I am sharing, teaching, hoping to inspire you, and then to remember how beautiful you are, how sacred you are. And that's what this journey is about. Your inner power, awakening to your inner power, and finding the God, wisdom within you, and connecting to cosmic consciousness, and realizing as divine feminine, we are remembering, and that's why it hurts so much, because the underlying truth is, we know that's our divine master, we know, but he's not able to choose us, but we still have to honor that. He's not choosing us is because that's the choice he makes at the moment. And it's not his fault, it's not our fault, it's nobody's fault. It is what it is. All right, see you all again for another discourse. Bye-bye, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.